Hey guys, welcome to the Dream Lab. We're getting ready to have another dream. My friend Ashish has a dream for us today, so come on up.
All right, so this is something I saw quite a while ago, and I tried interpreting it myself, and also we tried in one of the classes, but it never stuck, like in terms of the interpretation itself. So I thought I'd probably share. So in this dream, I don't have a job, and what happens is I meet this Nigerian man who is looking for someone to work for him, and he says that. Would you like to work for me? And if you want to work for me, you must travel to Nigeria. So he also gives us plane tickets. So obviously, I think I did accept the job, and I realized that I'm assigned as the pilot of the plane. So I'm not really traveling as a passenger, but as a pilot. And so that day arrives, and we're supposed to travel. And the flight's supposed to be at 11 o'clock. So 11 in the morning is when I'm supposed to take off from that airport. I don't know where that is, but and it's already 10:38. And I'm telling my wife that we don't want to miss that flight. That's very important to us. And then I remember that I'm the pilot of the flight. It's not going to go.
I think we'll be okay.
So I'm just thinking and not worried anymore, about whether I'll get delayed or not. And then one of the airport officials meets us and shakes my hand and gives me the pilot's badge. And he then after that also gives a badge to my wife because she's with me and she needs to be able to travel as well with me. And then he escorts us to another place in the airport, like somewhere there's no more of the crowd. You're like separated out. It's kind of those different entrances, probably the pilots use, I guess. But there I met actually another official. There I meet another official, and I also meet my co-pilot. And then he's already getting into his uniform, and I'm actually handed. My wife is led away at that time to board the flight, and I'm actually handed a military outfit as my uniform. So it's all the camouflage, dress that I must wear. The green, brown, white kind of a mix, right? And at that time, when I'm wearing that uniform, it occurs to me that I actually don't know how to fly the plane. I'm not a pilot.
This is going to be a fun flight.
Probably that's the title of the dream.
There you go.
So I'm like, I'm almost about to tell the official that, dude, you got the wrong guy. I don't know how to fly the plane. I'm almost about that. Maybe they got the name mixed or something like that. And maybe someone else had my same name and you kind of misunderstood. But at that time, I'm thinking consciously, almost outside the dream. I'm thinking, wait a minute, that this is maybe God. And this is almost, I don't know how to explain the experience, but I know almost in that moment that this is a dream and that I must not tell the man that I'm not a pilot, that this is something from the Lord. So, and if it's the Lord, I must fly the plane. That's the only thought I have in my mind at that time. And so I go back to the dream, and I go into the cockpit, and I have the co-pilot. My co-pilot is an African American, and I'm able to fly the plane. There is an initial hiccup. Have you seen when the plane takes off and then kind of dips a little bit in that initial? I have that same sense when I'm flying, and I just smoothly fly away. That's pretty much the dream. But right after that, I begin to talk to my co-pilot, and I talk about these great pilots. And I had two names. I tried googling them. Didn't make any sense. One was Donovan. The other one was Atwin. I have absolutely no idea who these
Say
people
the
are.
names again.
Donovan and Atwin.
And Atwin.
Atwin. That's how I.
Donovan and Atwin. Okay.
And I tell my co-pilot that these two guys, they circumvented the earth on a plane. And I'm surprised at that time, like, how do I know so much about pilots? Like, where is this information coming from, And my co-pilot is also very surprised, and he asks me, so are you friends with these guys, that you're talking about? And I tell him, no, I'm not friends with them, but I definitely know about them. So that's pretty much the dream.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see if we've got this dream right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. So you are without a job and you meet this Nigerian man who offers you a job. And you realize you've accepted it because he's handing you plane tickets for you and your wife because you've got to go to Nigeria if you're going to take this job. So you get the plane tickets and you realize that you're also the pilot when you get the plane tickets. So you know that your plane is supposed to leave at 11 o'clock, but it's 10:38 and you're thinking it's getting late and you're telling your wife, we need to hurry. We don't want to miss this. And then you realize, wait a second, I'm flying the plane. I think it'll be okay. We'll be able to get there. And so you get to the airport, and when you get to the airport, you meet up with these officials, and they give you the badge because you're going to be flying the plane, and they take you into this other area where you meet up with another official. He introduces you to your co-pilot. Your wife gets led away to go to get on the plane and get ready to go, and you and the co-pilot are there, and he's dressing up, getting ready, and you start realizing, wait a second.
And I'm given the camouflaged uniform as well.
Okay, so that happens before you realize that you're not. Okay.
While I'm getting
So you get the camouflage uniform, military outfit, and as you're putting it on, that's when you realize, wait a second, I don't know how to fly planes. What's going on? Now, in that moment, you become what we call lucid. In our courses, we talk about lucid dreaming. And lucid is just a descriptive term. It means to have full use of one's faculties and clarity of thought. So it'll happen in dreams where you'll actually realize that you're dreaming and you'll be thinking about the dream while you're thinking, and you can make decisions as to what you're going to do in the dream while you're aware of it. And so that's what happens at this point. You become lucid. You're like, wait a second. No, this is God. And if this is God, I'm got to fly the plane, whether I think that I can or not. And I can't tell them that they've got the wrong person because this is really God. And so you're back in the dream and you just go along with the flow. You're getting into the plane. Your co-pilot's getting ready. You're getting ready to fly the plane. And you start to take off. And at first, there's a little bit of a hiccup, a little bit of a dip, but everything's fine. You're able to fly. And you start telling your co-pilot about these amazing pilots, Donovan and Atwin, and how they had actually flown all the way around the world. That's why I repeated the names when he said them, so I could remember them later. And they had flown all the way around the world, and how amazing they were. And you're amazed at how much you know about piloting because you're not a pilot, which you're not telling anybody. And your co-pilot's like, how do you know all this stuff? Did you know these guys? Did you meet these guys? And he's intrigued as well. And that's when the dream ends. While you're flying on your way to Africa. Now, I didn't mention, but your co-pilot was an African American while you're going to Nigeria to work for a Nigerian man. So that may or may not have some meaning. Yeah. One of the things with details, you got to be careful with details because if you get too caught up in a minor detail, you're going to lose the big picture. It's like when you're looking at a picture on your computer screen and you zoom in. If you zoom in too far, you can see every little square, every little pixel. You can no longer tell what the picture was. That's what happens when you look too much at the details. So catch the main point. He's going to Nigeria to fly for Nigeria, and he's going to Nigeria to work for a Nigerian man. He's flying the plane. It's got to leave at 11 o'clock. He feels late, but he knows he can do it. He doesn't think that he's able to fly, but God reminds him that he's able to fly. He does it, and he realizes he knows a lot more about piloting, including people that have done it well in the past than he thought that he could in the beginning. That's your main points. If you get your main points, you'll be able to understand the main points of this dream. So here's a great time. Pause your video. Come up with the title of your dream. Now, he gave you a great title a minute ago. And the nice thing is, you've got a video. If you forget what it is, you could just rewind and listen to what he said, or you could just come up with your own. And get your focus, your sub-focuses, your details. And once you've got an interpretation of the dream, now, it's always good to try to write out the interpretation because it makes you think how you're going to communicate it to the dreamer. Write out your interpretation. When you're all ready, start the video again, and we'll let you know what we got here at the lab. All right. You guys have fun with that dream?
Yes.
Now this is a fun one. This is a lot of details that you can look at this dream. So let's start out with the simplest part. What are we going to title it? What's that? I'll fly away. Okay. I'll fly away. I'll fly away. All right. So what is our focus for this one?
Dreamer.
Dreamer. Sheesh.
You're unemployed, or
Glad that's the dream Ashish. That's not the real Ashish. What are our sub-focuses? And let's walk through in order. So let's start out. What's the first thing in the dream that would be a sub-focus? Yes. The Nigerian man would be the first one. Okay? And what's the next one?
We jumped right to Ashish being the pilot.
Okay, let's start out with flight and then maybe pilot. Okay.
or it could be like the job offered, and then
Yep, off the Nigerian man is going to be job. The flight, we said pilot. He's a pilot. That is an important part. And anything else that we would consider sub-focus? The plane. So we put the flight, so we'll actually consider the plane off of the flight. Because that, I mean, it could be,
Either one.
yeah, it actually could be either one. All right, what else?
Uniform and badges.
So, oops, BADGES, badges, uniform. Boy, I am having fun writing today. The I goes here. Uniform. Okay. That's a detail off the fact that he's a pilot. What else?
Co-pilot.
Yeah, there's a co-pilot. So let's put that off of maybe plane. I actually spelled co-pilot, right? That's helpful.
Our flight time is 11.
Flight time is 11. Okay?
We had the lucid moment as a sub-focus.
So the lucid moment. And we could just include in there the fact realizing, wait a second, this is God, this is a dream, I need to go with this. So it's almost like that decision of not revealing that he can't fly. So we'll just write lucid to catch that moment. Okay? What else?
I put as a detail off the uniform that they were camos.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I'm going to move this around here so I can get it on here. Okay?
How about me talking about the pilots?
Yeah, so Edwin and Donovan, the other pilots. Anything else? All right. It's a lot of details, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. Where do we want to start? What's the first one that we need to figure out?
The Nigerian man.
The Nigerian man. Why Nigerian man?
There is something foreign to him.
Something foreign to him. I actually believe that is the main point. I don't know why I circled that because you don't circle definitions, but okay. So Nigerian man, the fact that he's foreign. Okay. And then the flight is to get to Nigeria. So it's not only a foreign man, but it's also a foreign job, right? A foreign task that he's being given, foreign, whatever the job would represent. Actually, so what does the job represent then?
Destination word?
A destination. So the job is the destination. Okay. Yeah, so it's what he's going to be doing when he gets to the destination. Yeah, so it's what he's going to. So the endeavor, it's something that's out there that he's doing in a new place. So it's something about doing, right? Because in your job, you're acting, you're doing. So it's a destination in the way of this is something new he's going to be doing in a new place. Yeah. So is this a spiritual doing or is this a secular doing? I think it's kingdom assignment. So maybe a ministry. So the flight is just how he's going to get there. Why 11?
It's the 11th hour.
The 11th hour? It's a prophetic calling. Yeah. Why is it all pointing to Africa and not Europe, not South America? I mean, it's the fact that he's from Asia and he's living in North America. So to be foreign, it would have to be something other than those two. But for it to be Africa versus Europe versus, so what are the things that you think of when you think of Africa? When you think of Nigeria? It's something specific. Yeah, it's not just general, you're going someplace, you're going to this place.
Overseas.
Right. Yeah, very good. Yeah, so it is, there's something specific to it. It's not just general. It's good. Yeah. So co-pilot. Why does he have a co-pilot?
Not alone.
He's not alone. Yep, not alone. What's the uniform about? It's a mantle, preparation. He's equipped for the job. Why is it a military uniform? Yeah, the fact that it's a passenger flight, but you're flying a military. Yeah, so that makes it even more that it's about you being equipped for spiritual warfare. The job is not spiritual warfare. The badge represents authority.
And that she gets one too.
She also gets one. Yeah, so you're going to be doing this, but she's going to get the same authority, even though she has a different role. Yes. In the dream, he's a pilot. And he is talking about these other pilots that have had great impact internationally. And he's going to another nation. So he's going to know about the ministry of others that have done the same thing that he's called to do. Right? So it's other people that have done and been very successful in the very thing that he is doing or going to be doing. So it's just about others that are success. Others successful. Okay. Now, as you can tell, there's so many places you can go when you're getting caught up in all of these details. There's a lot of nuances to this dream. Let's try to dial it down. What's the most important thing that the dreamer needs to know from this dream? So let's have a couple of you come up and share what you got as the interpretation of this dream. Who's going to come up? Come on up. All right.
This dream tells us a lot about purpose And so I really believe that God is telling you that you have such a specific purpose. And sometimes it seems like it's the 11th hour or you're not going to make it on time. But this is a prophetic calling that he specifically is giving you. And you don't have to worry about how it's going to affect your family because your wife is going with you. And you're equally as called and qualified because he's the qualifier. And what you might think that you're looking for really has such great purpose in it. And it might seem foreign and it might seem strange or it might seem far away. But God is telling you that you are qualified. He's giving you everything that you need so that you can do what he's asking you to do. And you're going to feel comfort in that. And there's people who are going to rally around you to help you. And the people that you affect, they're coming with you because y'all are all going on this same trip, this same journey. And one of the things that you can be confident in is that there are people who have gone before you. And so you're not the first one to go out, but you can learn from all the things that they've already done. God is giving you that. Even if you're the only one who knows about them, you recognize it and you've learned that. And so that when you go, you have that comfort to draw on. And God is just putting everything in place for you so that you can walk into it and you'll affect many people.
If you had the main point that he's got a calling to ministry and he's not going to feel ready, but he actually is ready and he just needs to believe and he'll get there, you got the dream. That's the most important piece. That's what God was saying. And that whole point of going lucid at that moment in the dream and realizing, wait a second, no, this is God. I've got to do this. It's going to say he's going to come to a turning point that he's going to have to realize, no, God has put me into this place. God has called me to this place. So I can do it, even though I don't feel like I have what's needed. Because God put me here, I will have what's needed. And that's the main thing that he needs to know. Now, all the other pieces, it's all helpful and it's all good. But if you got the main point, you just have to have the main point to give the dreamer what they need. Because as he walks through this, he's going to see all these different pieces and he's going to recognize who's this Atwin, who's this Donovan, who are these people that he saw. That will make sense to him once he gets there, but it may not make sense to us when we're trying to interpret the dream. So don't be concerned if you didn't get all the details. And if you got too caught up in the details, realize that trap. You ask this question. So how could I say this dream in as few words as possible? And really say this dream as you've been given something to do. You have to go somewhere else to do it. And you're going to be taking the lead of getting there. You're not going to feel ready, but you're going to get there anyways. That's your main points that you've got to get. So bless you guys. I hope this was helpful. And this is the beautiful thing. If you've got the main point of the dream, keep on going into those details, especially as the dreamer. Because there's going to be dreams that you're going to get and you're going to have somebody interpret or you're going to interpret. Keep on going back to it, especially if it's one of those dreams that just sticks with you. You don't have to do that with every single dream because you'd probably drive yourself crazy and everybody around you crazy. But there are some of those dreams that you can keep on going back and keep on finding more. I have certain dreams that I've gone back to over different seasons. They've been interpreted and then in another season, it's just a whole nother nuance. And there's parts of those dreams that come alive in brand new ways. And you can press into those when you have one of those dreams. It just feels like this is a big one. This is something that I really need to grasp. So don't be afraid to do that. Just figure out the main point of the dream before you do that. Because if you try to do that before figuring out the main point of the dream, you're not going to have the context to figure out if it actually fits the dream. It may be interesting and it may be fun. And maybe it's something that God is speaking to you, but it's just not the interpretation of the dream. The way to find out is, does it fit in the overall context of the dream? So get your main point and then add in those details back into the dream. And that will be helpful. So bless you guys. We'll see you next time on the lab.